Alright, let's recap the story a little bit because it's starting to get very confusing and also a little bit bizarre. It all started when Donald Trump nominated a person for the position of AI advisor, and that person happens to be of Indian descent. And he suggested that the cap for the H-1B visas be removed. And this sparked like an entire controversy online with certain people that have voted constantly against migration, attacking the visas and also showing racismus towards people of Indian descent. And on the other hand, you have the tech bros. You got the Elon Musks, which were posting very inflammatory stuff, such as this. The reason I'm in America, along with so many people critical who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies, is because of the H-1B visa. Take a big step back and fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. And so, like, I see Elon Musk getting upset in public, right? Like, behind closed doors, probably this is the way he talks. I don't know. But, like, the only time that I seen him curse in public was regarding censorship when he told the advertisers to go fuck themselves. And that was, like, a huge, like, whoa. And this was, like, another thing. Like, it seems that he genuinely, personally cares about this issue. Because I've seen people attack him in the past, I've seen people insult him in the past, but never was he showing that it actually affects him at a personal level like this particular controversy. And so he started removing blue check marks first from people that were ratioing him. I think Laura Luber was one, many others. But eventually he even started outright banning accounts. And this is a little bit interesting because, like, he was priding himself with Twitter being the free speech platform. And while you can go on Twitter and you can misgender people, right, you can commit the atrocity, you can also criticize LGBT activism, you can say many things. But apparently if you were having the wrong takes on the H-1B visa, you could get your account banned. To be fair, some of the people that got banned deserved it because they fabricated a screenshot of Elon Musk saying that he actually likes the visas because it's cheap labor. A screenshot that didn't exist, and there were other people that involved his child into it. Like they were, is it because you're abusive to your kid that they transitioned? You know, shit like this. And while I understand that people should have principles, at the end of the day, when you bring someone's kid into the conversation, you realize that the online space is not really like the Oxford debate stadium. Like, human beings, they do have emotions. No matter how principled you think they may or may not be, when you bring someone's kids into the mix, things get volatile, right? Like, you may have a person that advocates for pacifism and is a person that doesn't condone violence, and you go up to him, you say something bad about their kids, you get punched in the face, and then with a bloody nose, you're like, aha, see? He doesn't really. And it's like, okay, but I get what you were doing, but at the same time, I can't fault the guy. I wish I could, but, like, you know, it's kind of what happened here with some accounts. Other accounts, not so much. Like, other accounts genuinely just had, like, some basic political takes regarding on this issue. They weren't racist or anything. And they did get their blue check marks taken away, or they did get banned. And that's no excuse there. And while he does have a point, saying that many people that are complaining about him would immediately get banned on Facebook, and those people were banned under Jack Dorsey, and so Twitter right now, with all its faults, is still a better alternative than what used to be and other platforms. It is concerning for people because it looks like a sign of things to come. It's like, okay, so you're allowed to say whatever you want as long as you don't get against his private interests. Which, you know, I mean, fair is fair. It is his platform. And if you want to shit talk Elon Musk, you can do it on YouTube, you can do it on Twitch, you can do it on other places. But it's not really what I would expect. It's not what was promised. In which case, like, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't sue the man, but you can be disappointed. And so this is where we're at. But the interesting thing happened earlier today. And as you can see here, there's a post from 10 hours ago saying, easily fixed, by the minimum salary significant and adding a yearly cost for maintaining the H-1B, making it materially more expensive to hire from overseas than domestically. I've been clear that the program is broken and needs reform. Like, hold on a little bit. Now he's saying that the H-1B visa program needs reform. So why the spark out then? Why did you rage at people that you're going to war? Why did you have to curse? Call MAGA people subtards and other insults? What was the point if eventually you're going to do 180 and agree with them? But basically what he is saying is addressing the main criticism of why even the MAGA movement exists to begin with. Like, I, as an observer from outside of the United States, can get to the very core, the very basic of what the MAGA movement is, and that is the fact that people want jobs. People don't want welfare from the government. People don't want handouts. They want to work. They want to center their lives around the concept of working for a living. And so there are two different interests. There's competing interests. There's like people that own businesses and they want to hire the cheapest labor possible. And then the people that actually do want to get employed. And they're horrified by the fact that with new technological innovations, the number of jobs is diminishing. And on top of that, they notice that something is not fair. It's like in Eastern Europe. If I am an engineer, I only compete with the other engineers from Romania. If you're an engineer in India, you're competing with other engineers from India. But if you're an engineer in America, you're supposed to compete with the entire world. And a lot of people are finding that to be unfair. Then there's people raising grievances of racial-based nepotism, which exists pretty much everywhere in the world. Even like in Romania, if I was to work in China, and I have like 7 Chinese applying for a job and another Romanian, I'm telling you, you're very tempted to give the job to the Romanian, providing that he can at least do it. And it's like the whole world is thinking like this. Like Chinese people think like this. Everyone thinks like this, right? And this is what Americans are saying. Probably Americans would think like this as well. Like if they go to India and you have like 7 Indians applying for a job and 1 American, chances are they may select the American, right? Like it does raise a couple of questions that I haven't seen addressed. Like no one is tackling this issue. They're just labeling it as racism and moving on. And so the current culture in America is that if you want to do a job without going to a university, you just want to do a job as a trucker or as a plumber or as a gardener, well, you're told that Americans are too lazy to do these jobs, and this is why America needs more immigration. If you want to do something that requires coding, right? Like you're a miner, the mines are closed because of environmentalist reasons, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to learn how to code because this is what Obama told me. Well, apparently you're not smart enough to code. Americans are too dumb. And so, no matter what you pick, the culture is basically saying that, okay, you're not going to have a stable job. And so people that have families and they're worried about like, okay, but what is my kid going to do? Is he going to stay at my place for the entirety of his life? Well, there's no answer for them either. So this is what created the MAGA movement. And regarding the H-1B visa, there's a lot of criticism to it. Like, people have started digging and they notice so much shit that corporations are doing that they realize that the system is corrupt. It's not about getting the best and brightest. It's about getting indentured servants. You're getting someone from a different country, which is very unlikely to unionize, is very unlikely to change corporations. You can pressure them to show up to work every Saturday and put in overtime. You can always dangle that little visa on top of their head. And so this is why companies want that over Americans. And it's not racially motivated. I think like they would still prefer a visa worker than an actual American that's of Indian ethnicity, but he's born in the United States and he has rights as a citizen. Why? Well, because he knows the legal system. He has probably connections to the media. He's not going to put up with a lot of the shit that the company tells him to put up with. They can unionize, right? And so this is why a lot of people were criticizing the H-1B. And they were being labeled as racist, lazy, subtarded, and other things that Elon Musk came up with and taking away their blue check marks. But now he sees that Elon Musk does agree, and he's like, yeah, I mean, the system is kind of bad. I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, this is the essence of the MAGA movement. It's at the core of Donald Trump's campaign. He's basically saying that one of the problems America has is that many businesses are going to China. So, like, you got businesses that just bypass all the regulations from the United States, and they set up shop in China, and they build the stuff there, and then they import it over to America. And so he's going to tariff. He's going to start tariffing those so that it's not profitable, and so that the factories and the manufacturers remain in the US. And what Elon Musk is saying, it's like, okay, let's do the same with the H-1B visa. There are some companies that seems to abuse the system in order to bypass all the regulations and all the laws that are in the country, because they're not going to get sued, their employers are not going to unionize. And so, like, let's put a tax. It's like, okay, you want the best and brightest in the world, it's going to cost you money. Like, you're going to get the savant, right? You're going to get the person with the 14 Nobel Prizes, which you can't get from the United States. But it's, in exchange, you gotta pay more. Still, I don't buy the narrative. Like, excuse me, I generally don't. Like, these persons that are apparently savants that cannot be found in the US, can we give names to them? No, I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist, but I'm generally curious. Like, can you name me these people? Like, so we can actually see, like, what are they doing that you cannot find in the entire United States of America, 350 million people, someone that can do that job. I'm not saying, like, they don't exist. It's just, like, it's weird. Like, you got 350 million people, right? Why isn't China trying to poach them? Still, apparently, Elon Musk now agrees. Now here's the interesting part. Whether he agrees for PR or he's actually going to make changes. Like, it would be interesting if he makes changes. I think he may, actually, because it would crack down on his competition. Companies that do not have the money to do this would get affected, while his companies won't. Like, okay, Tesla can pay a little extra for the H-1B visas. That's fine. His competition is not going to be able. So I generally think that he may actually decide, you know what? Yeah, like, we can do a reform. But the optics of it, oh my fucking God. Can you imagine the optics of it if he actually does do what he says? Because you have the left, the Democrats, and all they're doing is they dictate to the people how they need to think. You got, okay, this is how you think about COVID. This is how you think about Black Lives Matter. This is how you think, right? And if you have any deviation from that, you get canceled. Meanwhile, on the right, again, this is the best case scenario. Like, I would love to see it. Like, this would generally be democracy if it happens. You got people raising a grievance, and there's an argument, there's a fight. You know, some people get banned, some people lose their check marks. It's true. But in the end, the leadership, the opinion influencers, at least, you know, they don't listen to what the public says, but at least take it into account, which is miles ahead of what the left is doing. Like, seriously, like, this would be mind-blowing if it actually happens. Like, you know, this is what mind-blown Cenk Uygur. It's like, wait, they actually listen to me? So this would be fantastic. This would be like a new way of doing politics, where you actually, instead of censoring people, you actually do get to listen to them. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to remove the visas. That wasn't even a campaign promise. You know, even Donald Trump said if people want to migrate to the United States, they have to do it legally. No one hid that. Like, this is out in the open. This is who we are. But maybe we can make some reforms. You know, we'll meet you halfway. Like, you're not going to get what you want. We're not going to get what we want either. Like, maybe we can find a middle ground so that people are less unhappy. You don't get that on the left. Like, if you do, like, please let me know. Like, give me an example. Because I can't think of any, and I've been following American politics for more than 10 years now. And so we'll see. He basically says that he will make changes. He tagged Donald Trump, and he says that the rising tide lifts all boats. It is curious, though. It is curious. I think maybe he had an advisor that told him, it's like, hey, why are you fighting this? Like, this can actually work for us. It's like, well, I'm fighting it because personal reasons, or maybe I have a lot of people that have H-1B visa. It's like, yeah, but like, we make a change, we make it expensive, we tax the companies that are using this, and we can still use it. We can even get more people on board in our companies, while other companies are going to have to actually hire Americans. They're not going to be able to use the H-1B visa because it's going to be very expensive for them. And there you go. You know, like people looking for jobs would have all of a sudden more jobs available. Elon Musk still gets to keep his H-1Bs, and other companies that are very wealthy get to keep their H-1Bs. But like, this is where we're talking about California now, right? Like, who the fuck wants to live there? What type of American wants to live in California? The rest of the companies that, you know, would use H-1B in order to hire frivolously, oh, they're the ones that are going to have to now hire Americans. That's my take. Let me know what you think. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.